It never fails. I thought this might. Farewell, envoy.
You showed such... What a shame! Queen among queens! Send me your aid! Was it wasn't wrong! Go up and... Again! Won't help me!
Silence falls over Paradise, as though the city is holding its breath. Then you hear it, the ringing of a distant bell, the waving of banners, and cheers of victory. After a short and bloody conflict, the dust has finally begun to settle. There is an absence in your thoughts where Sapadal dwelled. Once, the god of the living lands would have flinched at this rare moment of tranquility. Instead, they are one with the silence. The Adiran forces assemble around you, ready to accept new orders. Whatever happens next, their loyalty is yours. You take a moment to reflect on the calm. Not so long ago, you arrived at these shores on a simple errand, which turned out to be anything but simple. The dream scourge is over, and the island has been cleansed of plague. A time of healing and mourning follows. People look to you for answers about the source of the affliction. You tell them the truth, how the origin of the plague has been destroyed, put out of its misery, and leave it at that. The Living Lands is now a colony of the Adiran Empire, and you are its king. The Ascendant Steel Garrote demand that you rule them with a strangling fist, and you oblige them. Under your leadership, all worship of the gods is outlawed, save for worship of Wodaka. You replace the settlement's leaders with loyal captains from the Steel Garrote, and your followers work tirelessly to tame the frontier. Though you promise them an age of order and discipline is just over the horizon, peace forever feels just out of reach. You find yourself looking over your shoulder. You wait for a knife in the back. The rebels of Paradise are not so fortunate. Over the years, more of their hidden sanctuaries are rooted out by the Steel Garrote, until they have nowhere left to run. They flee or perish. The refugees of Emerald Stair find a cold welcome in the city of Paradise. Animancy is frowned upon, but their knowledge of agriculture is highly valued. The first bountiful harvest improves relations. In time, the people of Emerald Stair return to their city of Fior Messiverno. However, the Steel Garrote does not tolerate forbidden research. Animancy is forced into dark alleys, away from the eyes of the law. Anyone found practicing animancy is sentenced to death. The older Thirdborners who remember Rawatai know that life under an empire is cyclical. In time, Adir's might will fade. But the younger kith of the settlement remember what Thirdborn used to be, while having lost so many to an archmage's spell, and straining under the yoke of an empire. Despite the line of Adiran ships bearing fine goods, their rage is a powder keg that sits and waits. For a brief but hopeful moment, Solace Keep opens the fortress doors to the new rulers of the Living Lands, allowing Adirans to come and go as they please. But the peace does not hold. Lacking patience for the Empire's unyielding demands, Mihala shuts the doors once again, issuing a warning. Those who trespass in Solace Keep will not leave alive. The Adirans waste no time gathering their forces, for an example must be made. For the first time in many years, Kai feels an agreeable restlessness. Not to flee, not to drift, but to venture. He visits the distant shores Tama told him about, and savors the modern marvels, ancient wonders, and breathtaking expanses he beholds. His heart swells, not with grief, but with awe. There is so much to discover, and he will spend his years chasing all of the joy and beauty the world has to offer him. With many of his anxieties and lifelong fears addressed, Marius now feels very differently than he did when he first met the envoy. Still far more comfortable in the wilds than among people, he nonetheless finds that his worries about the unknown were merely self-protection against the traumas of his childhood. Armed with this knowledge, he finds himself more capable of living in civilization, and far less fearful of his home in Galawain's tusks. While he never regains his former place as a warden of Solace, he spends his time traveling between Solace and Thirdborn, acting as a stubborn ambassador between the two. Giada continues to improve as an animancer. She dedicates her work to the spiritual health of the living lands, nurturing instead of exploiting. Others follow her example, seeking her tutelage from lands far and wide. In the years to come, rumors spread of a secret society gathering in the wilderness, where animancers work in harmony with nature. The dream of Fior Mes Iverno lives on in her. Unable to pass up the opportunity, Yatsley takes her place beside Reengrim. Under the tutelage of the Archmage of Terror, Yatsley sees her own power grow beyond her wildest expectations. But Reengrim is a strict master, and the visits to Quilichi slow to a stop over the years, leaving her with her grimoire and a pile of letters to warm her in her twilight years. Alone in your thoughts, you feel endless opportunities stretching out before you. This is the freedom Sapadal never had. You promise to cherish it. An eerie quiet pulls you out of reverie. Your enemies are vanquished, and you alone stand triumphant. You take a moment to catch your breath and savor it, because everything is about to change.